Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i should not think of acquitting the united opposition. The isolation we see from Fred Okengo Matiang'i, it signals that he is kind of distancing himself from the so-called united opposition. Today, I'm here to give you some reasons as to why I feel like Fred Okengo Matiang'i should stick with the united opposition from the start to the end. But before that, let me take you through a series of events why I feel like Fred Okengo Matiang'i is distancing himself because of one reason. Nikukumbushe, when they created this kind of the united opposition, leaders like Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka, and others from the united opposition like the Eugene Wamalwa and the rest, they sat down and came up with a decision that everyone should go outside, particularly to his community, build himself, and then come back strongly so that we can sit down and decide who is going to be the presidential candidate from the united opposition. In other words, the main ambition of the united opposition was to come together and then they decide of one presidential candidate who is gonna take home Dr. William Ruto. And that's why maybe Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i has decided that let me first build myself independently, then I come back strongly, then we sit down and decide who is gonna be the presidential candidate. And today, I feel like Fred Okengo Matiang'i, it's now time to come back because if you look at the united opposition, kuna vile walikuja wakadecide kwamba let's come together and work together, and that's what they are doing. But Fred Okengo Matiang'i has stuck with the first a decision they made that just go out there, build yourself, then you come back. And now I feel like Fred Matiang'i should not do that anymore. He should come back to the united opposition, work with other leaders. Number one reason as to why I feel like Fred Okengo Matiang'i should not quit the united opposition is that Fred Okengo Matiang'i has a higher chance of being the flag bearer of the united opposition. Why am I saying this? Fred Matiang'i has a lot of experience. You know, some of you may ask me why I'm saying that Fred Matiang'i is experienced. Politically, Fred Matiang'i, it might look that Fred Matiang'i hana ile experience ya kuwa mwanasiasa, hana ile experience ya kuwa leader. But when we come to delivering, you know, Fred Matiang'i has a lot of experience from being a teacher, being a lecturer, working at the East African community, working at the World Bank, and working as the CS of the Interior, Education, and IT under the Uhuru Kenyatta government. Fred Matiang'i has a track record of delivering. Fred Matiang'i has a track record of working smart, you know. So he has that experience of delivering to the people of Kenya. That's why I'm saying that if you try to look at the united opposition, wale watu ambao wako pale hawako na hiyo experience ya kufanya kazi, wako na experience ya kuwa politicians, yani ya kuwa wanasiasa. The likes of Kalonzo Musyoka, he has 40 years of experience of being a politician. But when you look at the track records and delivering work, he has that he doesn't have that kind of experience. We can say that he was exposed to various institutions and delivered. But Fred Matiang'i was exposed, or he is exposed to various institutions and he has delivered well. That's why I'm saying that Fred Matiang'i has a higher percentage of becoming the presidential flag bearer of the united opposition because he has experience of delivering and working. The number two reason as to why I feel that Fred Matiang'i should not quit the united opposition is because he needs strength. Fred Matiang'i needs strength, you know, he needs the support from these other united opposition leaders. In case he's chosen as the presidential flag bearer, the leaders like Kalonzo Musyoka, Rigathi Gachagua, Eugene Wamalwa, they should give him support because they've seen that this gentleman has been with us from the start to the end. But if he continues to isolate himself from these other leaders, wataona kwamba this person is kind of working independently. Hakuji tuzungumze, tuungane, like we have one decision so that tupatiane support ile inafaa. So if he tries to do that, these other leaders will abandon him or will sideline him from giving him support. So he should come back so that he will have that strength because of the support from these other leaders of the united opposition. Point number 3, It's because the united opposition may refer him as the mole. Remember, when he came up with this idea of becoming the presidential candidate, kuna vile Rigathi Gachagua and other leaders walimuona kwamba this kind of a person is maybe he's a mole of Dr. William Ruto, wakasema kwamba he's a government project and those all other things. So if he continues to isolate him the way he's doing, kuna vile watu watamrefer as a mole to the united opposition, you see. So Fred Matiang'i should stick with the united opposition, waseme kwamba we are here with one ambition, to field a strong presidential candidate and take Dr. William Ruto back home to school. So he should consider of not isolating himself from these other people. He should come work with them together and they decide of one thing. Ladies and gentlemen, those are my views here. I've given you some reasons why I feel like he should not isolate himself or distance him from the united opposition. Number one reason is because he has a higher chance of becoming the president or the presidential flag bearer for the united opposition. Number two, it's because he needs the strength of these other leaders. And number three, it's because these other leaders may refer him as some more. So with those three reasons, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know your views on the comment section. And for the returning subscribers, thank you so much for your big support of coming back here to all this political content. And for the new subscribers, thank you so much for your massive support. Let's meet in the next episode.